My favorite thing to go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Role Players Guild. I am Bluga, your guildmaster here at the Role Players Guild, and we are here for another adventure in Eberron with the Dream Dealers of Fairhaven. I play Mark V, the Warforged Warlock, and we are going to pass it along to Alex with Laura on deck.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Alex. I'm also part of the Role Players Guild, and I'm playing Xylix Searster, your cleric druid lizard folk companion. Laura, it's all you.
Hello, I'm Laura. I'm playing Gilzaf, the autonome rogue who just took a level in Mystic. We're going to find out how that goes. And if I can keep up with it, fingers crossed. It's Bee Spouse's turn.
I'm Bee's spouse. I was playing both Bee's paladin and my own sorceress of some ill repute. And tonight we'll see if I'm still playing either of them. The secret is no. Jason.
Spoilers.
Hey. Welcome, everybody. It is another wonderful night. Welcome to another super fun, exciting adventure. Another exciting installment of the Dream Dealers of Fairhaven, taking place in Fairhaven, in the realm of Eberron. My name is Jason. I will be your guide to the light. And tonight, you brave and perhaps foolish adventurers have found yourselves just at the tail end of a harrowing battle, where you fought tooth and nail, knee-deep in monsters and evil bad people, where you barely survived. Actually, you did pretty well. You pretty much owned the place. But it's just at the tail end. It was tiresome nonetheless. And you have now found yourselves retreating back to the inn where your party is staying. This inn is located at the top of one of the main towers in Fairhaven. And those of you who have played any kind of bonus points to anybody who might recognize this map, see if anybody in chat could guess it. This was from the 3.5 Days of Eberron, and it was a famous inn. We'll see if anybody recognizes it. But as it is, y'all find yourselves kind of just hanging out a bit, grab some food. It's kind of the morning after. You retired late to your beds, and now the morning light has awakened you, and you kind of begin sauntering back from your rooms, meeting in the main hall of this inn, where we have Xylix sitting at a table. We have Mark V and Gilzaf sitting at a table, and yeah, that's kind of where we're at the moment. We have two characters standing at the door of the inn, right? And we'll turn some spotlight back to some of your characters. Xylix, having been through this harrowing adventure thus far, this is all new to your character, as your character hasn't really experienced a whole lot of civilization thus far. Tell us what your character is thinking. Tell us how your character is dealing with all of this crazy stimulation.
Well, it's been quite overwhelming. From the moment I stepped on that train to now, everything has been brand spanking new, and everything happening all at once, or at least in such quick, rapid succession, has been leaving me somewhat frazzled. Not really sure what exactly to do besides just kind of rolling with the punches. My initial quest or mission has kind of been modeled and hard to focus on with everything else that's going on. And right now, especially after such a intense day the day before, I'm just kind of just trying to recuperate and gather all my thoughts and get an idea of if we continue with our current investigation, if that's going to allow me to eventually find connections to my original mission that God kind of sent me out on.
Okay. Right on. Now, does your culture, your civilization, do they do things kind of like any kind of coming of age rituals, like walkabouts or things like that, or is being sent out into the world? Is there any of that kind of an element at play here?
To a degree, it's yes and no. My tribe would essentially very similar to like the Spartans of old.
Hmm?
They would send us out into the swamps and expect us to survive
Okay.
and come back.
Okay.
And this is more of, instead of physical survivability, it's more of a mental and spiritual, I would say.
Okay. Good. All right. So you go into the world, somewhat perhaps naive, not sure what to expect. You come back with wisdom, with experience, and with D&D levels, right?
Yes.
It is good. All right. Sitting before you are two of your companions. We have Mark 5. Mark 5, recently activated, witnessing some stuff, having seen some pretty awful battles since you had been reactivated, but also some memories are kind of coming back to you a little bit here and there, right? How is your character kind of processing all of this, all that has happened thus far?
They are kind of just taking it in stride. They are, keeping these new memories, like, in the back of their memory bank to, put pieces together as they come. But
Okay.
currently, they are just concerned with aiding their boss.
Okay. All right. And who is their boss?
Elsbeth.
Right? Yes, indeed. Elsbeth, the lightning caster, played by Bee's spouse, right? Who doesn't seem to be in the area at the moment, right? As you look about, seems to be kind of not exactly there. I believe Elsbeth was with you all when you all retired, but when you woke up this morning, Elsbeth was nowhere to be found. Wherein have they gone, right? Awesome. Gilzaf, having kind of been through all of this morning after these moments of rest, this is kind of like that period where you kind of run back to the inn, kind of regather, recoup, figure out, maybe go through all the stuff that you stole. Hard to say, but tell us how your character's kind of processing all the things going right about now.
Well, so this is like Gilzaf's first really big mission that he's been on, and he grew up as the son of a merchant. Like, he experienced stuff in the morning, but that was like happened to him. He's choosing to do this now, and so he's got a lot to wrap his mind around, and like he's really excited about it. He's actually chattering quite happily with anybody and everybody who's walking past, just little small talks. And when he woke this morning, he really felt truly awakened for the first time in his mission. And that came with a few new powers, actually. And so he's also just a little bit flexing it and just like moving like the salt shaker across the table, just having fun, trying it out. So that's what he's doing.
There you go. Very cool. It makes sense. And this is kind of a pivotal moment for each of you. Actually, this is kind of one of those things where you look back on the things that you've experienced. Your abilities have been stretched. Your minds have been kind of weighed upon with all of these challenges, and you've met those challenges. You've gained strength. It's kind of a new awakening for each of you. In the game, we would we would call it just kind of growing, learning, increasing, strengthening, getting better, getting stronger, all that. Outside of the game, we call it gaining a level, right? And hopefully you all had a chance to kind of study up on that and decide how you wanted to throw the points and what you wanted to do. And you'll have a chance here, most likely this session, to test some of those abilities. Just on the outside of the door, I see two individuals standing just outside. One of them looks like a goat of sorts. Tell us what we see there. There, Bee's spouse.
To be fair, they both look kind of like goats.
Hey.
Those look like saloon doors, and I really hope they swing so that there's thematic entry here, because they will swing as a tiefling and her mechanical goat step. And she scans the room, purple as she is, finds, not purple, let's call it indigo. It's like that color of the eggs that are supposed to be purple when you're dying for Easter. You seen those?
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
looks like blue jeans, but it's not really whatever color they say they are. That's the color she is.
Right on.
But with bright pink hair and little buns back behind her ears and some nice little ram horns on her. And yes, a mechanical goat next to her. And she's scanning the room and sees a warforged, a tiny warforged, and a lizard man goes and then walks directly towards that table.
All right. And those of you sitting at the table, you notice this this entry. These saloon doors swing open. There's a howling wind that blows about the place, and you're pretty sure you hear like the deep strung of a maybe a Spanish guitar as they enter. And as Scott has explained it, the tiefling points directly at each of you once she recognizes you and begins to step your way. You now find these two individuals, this tiefling and this mechanical goat, now stand before you all.
I will absolutely keep up my chatter of saying hi and small talk to everyone that passes by. So, hi, how are you? What's your name? Is that a goat? How fun.
Yes, that is my goat. His name is Kozel. But you're the little one. You're Gilzef, and you're the Mark V, and you are the Xylek, yes?
The stranger knows your names.
How is it you know us?
She pulls a paper from her pocket and goes, I have the notes from the Elspeth. I am her replacement.
The entire time, like while you're brandishing that, before anybody actually reads it, Gilzaf is making strange, funny hand motions. It's thieves' cant. I'm just making sure you're not one of me.
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, the goat is staring at you.
The goat secretly took levels in Rogue.
Right?
Who can say? But yes, the Elspeth had family emergency, and so I am the substitute. And also, I heard there are brains that need working on.
Brains.
Warforged brains, perhaps?
I have a brain. You can work on my brain. My brain loves to be worked on. I am actually not a warforged. I am a very cool autognome. If there were sparkles, if I could emit sparkles with my hands, you would absolutely see sparkles.
Do you work on the same principles?
Do what?
Do you work on the same principles?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, good enough. Otherwise, I was going to ask if you wanted to find out.
Frozen in... I want to do that.
Her hand is inching towards a large screwdriver stashed at her belt.
Make no move to stop this.
But
Mark
yes,
5
so I
is
have
gonna
the notes.
take the letter, yeah.
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
the
yeah.
notes from her and what she said and wrote down, but like, I'm to investigate, and frankly, that's probably for the best. Because I mean, she's a wonderful person, I've heard, but like, she did not notice a lot of things. Her notes are really quite terrible.
Wow.
She
Well, you want to read
seemed to
my
have
notes?
been-
Will you let me?
Well,
Depends on what you'll do to my brain.
She looks like she has so many things that she is about to say, and is restraining herself because she's heard you're supposed to.
With a yes, indeed. Let me see a quick insight check. Sorry, what is I forget your new character's name, Scott.
Oh, she never introduced herself, did she?
Right.
No, she
I
didn't.
also need to change the name tag, so.
I'm gonna go get a pen
I
real
have-
quick.
I have been very rude. I'm sorry. I'm Svetlana. Svetlana Natalaevna Petrovich. But Svetlana will do, or Sveta, or Lana, what anyone will do. And
Wait,
you
did
can
you
call
say-
the goat goat. He's okay. He responds to it.
Hi, goat.
oh, all right.
All right. Svetlana, can I get a quick insight check?
Sure.
Why will you not do things that I want you to do?
Never mind. That's a 2. All right. So yeah. So the inn is the inn is kind of beginning to get a little bit more busy. More guests are kind of emerging from their rooms, beginning to kind of populate the tables, starting to order up their morning meals. The patrons, those who run the innkeepers are kind of moving about and passing in between tables and such. Let me see. So it appears for each of you that that the dynamics of the group have changed. And we have a new character, 2 characters leaving, and 1 new character has joined. This enigmatic Svetlana, this tiefling, who seems to be adept, or at least somebody who's involved in mechanics or tinkering of some sort. How would you describe like how your character is dressed, Svetlana?
She looks like she smells of motor oil. She may, in fact, smell faintly of motor oil. Got some decent scale mail, just, because who doesn't? Casual pants, lots of pockets, good solid boots, lots of pockets, and many of them are bulging with things, along with various pouches hanging off her. And there's a shield at her back and what appears to be a small crossbow strapped to her leg,
Okay. Excellent.
holstered perhaps.
Okay. All right.
Also, a very large wrench on the back.
Okay. Let's see. Xylek may not recognize the garb. But we could try, let's see. Mark 5 and Gilzaf, do you want to run a quick insight check and see what information you can garner from your observations?
Skeeter's insight, okay.
Shockingly, precognition only gives me advantage on initiative rolls, not insight.
Mm-hmm.
I got an 11.
Okay.
And I got a natty 1.
Okay.
I'm distracted by the pockets.
Right?
So many pockets.
Many pockets. All right. So the 2 of you do eventually come to the same conclusion. Looking at the garb, looking at the equipment raised about this individual. This Svetlana appears to be an artificer of sorts, and it begins to you begin to kind of maybe put 2 and 2 together about how that might be able to come in handy with the dynamics of the group, particularly in this region and in this adventure. So yeah, you kind of begin maybe forming ideas about what might be able to how they might be able to bring value to this group. Let's see. All right, and with that, Let's see. Did anybody actually recognize the name of this map? Does anybody feel like they've been here before?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry.
So this map is actually a from a published adventure back in the 3.5 days of D&D with Eberron. This is the Broken Anvil Inn, originally placed in the city of Sharn, but it looks like the Broken Anvil has definitely expanded their empire, and they now have a Fairhaven location. It is set in the bend of a large masonry building in one of the districts of Fairhaven, which is kind of cool. But the cool thing is, as they kind of try to keep up their brand identity, anybody who's been in the inn in Sharn will know that this will likely have the same layout as well. A couple other things that you're beginning to notice: the patrons, the innkeepers, and some of the people who are moving about the place as they kind of pass by your table. For the area and for the environment, your party doesn't really look out of place. It's pretty common to see a diverse group of races and individuals in Fairhaven. But every now and then, there's a passing glance your way. The people who kind of as they walk by, their eyes kind of linger on your party just a little bit longer than they might, a little longer than they ought to, you might say.
You act like it's weird that three mechanical beings, a lizard, and a tiefling, are hanging out together. And one of them is consensually rifling through, with the flap of a satchel, while at the same time explaining what an artificer is to Xylek. I got you, boo.
Right?
You seem confused.
Yeah, thank you. You notice that I can't keep my eyes off of the goat, and drool is starting to form at the corners of my mouth.
The goat is very metal.
I was going to ask if that was the case.
You could try to bite it.
It's got patches of fur, though.
Your goat friend, and I just start wiping away the drool. Is it an actual goat?
That is a good question for philosopher. What do you think, goat? Oh. And there you have.
Do goats dream of android other goats?
Ooh.
Wait, electric other goats. Do android goats?
Is that an actual question being asked?
No, I was just trying to bastardize a title and it didn't work at first.
I think it's the name of one of the sequels.
But I need to know because she will answer questions.
Nice.
Well, is it man, how do I say this? Is it alive? Is it a beast, or is it another mechanical creation?
The goat is staring at you.
I'm staring right back at it.
There's a deep glinting of green in the depths of what passes for its eyes.
Can you talk?
Is most what he says. We've been working on voice box, but it's harder than you think, especially when he's got in there.
Oh. Do you mind if I try something, just out of curiosity?
Well, you don't really need to ask me. You need to worry about the goat. It's something.
Okay, I'll kind of shuffle out of my chair and lean down to the goat. Ask, can I try something?
It's not a baleful stare, but it is a stare that you can convey, or conveys some sense of wariness.
Right. I am going to cast Speak with Animals as a ritual. And for the next 10 minutes, I'm just staring dead into the eyes of this goat, and it's staring back, and in that 10 minutes, I'll cast the Speak with Animals spell, and I just start bleeding like a goat directly to the goat. Ask, "Are you sentient, friend?"
Okay, so I'm curious how we'd rule on this, right? I'm kind of curious about that spectrum between construct and goat, right? Where would speak with animals sit on that spectrum? How much of that speak with animals? How much animal is there to speak with?
So
Right,
the
and this is
spell
something
itself,
for.
it says it communicate with beasts. So
Okay.
I don't know how we're gonna rule that with this
Okay.
specific individual. Oh, let me move
Yeah, I'd say that's something for B spouse to kind of consider. Since you conceived the character, you would know how well that would resonate.
I'm gonna throw this to you, Jason, because mechanically, if you'll pardon the pun, the goat is a construct,
Mm-hmm.
and
that's what I figured.
but the goat does in fact have the soul of a now deceased pet goat of Svetlana's family.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Give me 2 quick checks, Silik. Give me an animal handling check, and then give me an Arcana check.
Animal handling. Ooh boy, that's a 21.
Okay.
And Arcana. Oh, it's right there. Ooh, not as good. 7. Rolled the 6 for both. Or no. I rolled a 16 and then a 6.
Okay. All right, so that averages out to 14. So that's fairly decent. That's kind of on the higher end of the roll from 0 to 20, right? So you're kind of getting through here a little bit. Actually, you're able to kind of. I mean, it's a muddled speak with animals. It's a very mechanical speak with animals. But whatever it is that forms up the essence of this mechanical goat is definitely you're able to kind of resonate with that goat portion of this gruture. And you're able to kind of establish some communication there, albeit maybe limited, maybe muddled with with gruffs and bahs, but you're able to communicate there. And I'll let the spouse kind of take the lead on that communication on what is said.
And what was the question being asked?
Are you sentient?
The goat just sort of stares at you and goes, "Are you?"
Oh, that is a very difficult question. I like to think I am. I'm going to be totally honest. I wasn't expecting this to work.
Having existential crises in this exchange between our D&D characters and this goat.
The goat does say, "Well, if you're gonna do this, then cool. But just so you know, I won the staring contest. You blinked first." Goat does not have eyelids. It's worth noting.
Oh,
Nice.
I guess that's fair. Wow. Are you you trust this Svetlana? That's hard to say with my mouth. They're good people.
I mean, that's basically my sister. I mean, sort of. Not really, but close enough.
Wow.
Known her for years. She brought me back from the dead. Sort of.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. Is that why I can communicate with you even though you're robotic? You used to be a living goat? Actual goat?
I'd like to think I'm still a living goat. I'm just a little different. Thank you.
Well, that's pretty common among this group. I think you'll be fitting in just fine. I think. Oh wow, this is really causing me pause to really think. I think I need to go pray to my God about this. I'm just going to excuse myself and just walk off. Walk back.
Svetlana leans down and whispers, not really quietly, to Goat, "Stop giving the people existential fear, okay? Let's be nice to them for the moment." And pats him on the head. And for the rest of everyone else, you just hear the goat bleeding. But Xylak, you hear, yeah, okay, fair enough.
As Xylak departs, beginning the opening steps of navigating a borderline faith crisis, the rest of you begin to kind of turn your thoughts to the mission at hand, thinking about what answers you've been able to uncover about the current mission, and information that you've garnered, and what to do next. Spending a few moments catching Svetlana up on what you have found and whatnot, you kind of weigh your options about where to look next. There are several locations that you guys have an option to go to that actually have maps. I mean, you can go wherever you like. I try not to keep things on rails, but I mean, if you want to go to the mall, you can go to the mall. But we'll just like theater the mind that, right? But there are some locations that actually that are mapped out in part of the adventure. And there are a couple of different places where you can go to kind of investigate and see what you can dig up. You have been to the home of the professor from the Arcanics, Academy of Magic, where you found some clues. You've been to the textiles factory owned by Gravemore Tobiason, where you dug up several clues. Do we recall any of the things that we've recovered? Any of the clues and any of the pieces of information?
Yeah. So I know that they've been drugging a wine that has been or what I assume that this group is using to like indoctrinate or at least induce this coma-like sleeping amongst its members, which then puts them in such a deep trance where they can then be communicated with or communed with through a higher or more powerful user of like these Lucidia stones.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that the textile warehouse was overrun by this group of individuals who basically overtook the factory and stopped producing textiles and started using it as a distribution center for the Lucidia stones, the tainted wine, like other various items, and like just very mishmash of stuff that obviously was just not in lines with Tobias's original work order.
Correct. Whatever's going on, whatever control is being usurped over the people of Fairhaven, it seems to kind of happen within their dreams, so it seems like the mechanism by which getting them into that state seems to be these Lucidia stones, which were put on the market as a product to buy, which helps to induce lucid dreaming. It's been extremely popular, and anybody who's cool owns a Lucidia stone. They're like AirPods or something, right?
All the influencer influencing you.
Right, exactly. So that there's that, and then the poison wine might have been an accessory piece or an ancillary piece to get people into a dreamlike state. But whatever happens, whatever that is, it seems to be within people's dreams where they are taken over. Another interesting thing is that constructs don't seem to be as affected by such things as they don't necessarily sleep. They just kind of move into a shutdown stage, right? So that's what we know so far. There was in the basement of the textiles factory, you found some kind of a almost, it looked like a religious sanctuary. It might have been an ancient chapel where you found these people being stuck in a dream state where they were being indoctrinated by one of these dream-like beings, right? You found among them, I think in the office, you found a large manual, like a book, that was written with lots of notes, hastily written, but very, very thorough, right? Does anybody remember the language did we ever discover what language that large book was written in?
I think it was a language none of us knew.
Yeah, none of us could read.
Okay.
Yeah, none of us knew it, but it was similar enough to
Elven or Sylvan?
Right.
Yeah,
It had
right.
some
Sylvan?
overlap, right?
Or both?
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It was Sylvan because I remember I was able to deduce like certain key phrases.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Able to speak Sylvan, but
Okay.
like it was close enough in translation, but couldn't actually depict the entire
Okay.
diction.
Right.
And if only
Okay.
Whiffs was here and could detect speak languages
Right.
or whatever that one is.
Detect languages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So discovering what that book actually says, it kind of it's impressed upon each of you that discovering that would be like a major clue piece. That would be a major step that would bring some pretty serious answers, because it looks like that might have been some kind of a playbook belonging to whatever it is you're up against. So whatever. Anyway, so next steps, options that you all have. You have one more location that actually two more locations that you've been encouraged to investigate. One is the home of Mayweather Westloon, who lives in an apartment in one of the residential districts of Fairhaven. You could go there and see what you can find. Another location is the storefront of Gorman Utali. Gorman Utali was the individual who was granted an exclusive license to sell the Lucidia stones in the city of Fairhaven. He keeps a shop in one of the shopping districts of Fairhaven, high atop one of the towers there. It's kind of an exclusive storefront. He sells lots of pretty and very nice, expensive things. But you might see what answers could be found there. Another option, you can check back at the precinct. Check in with Salfron, one of the lead investigators on this case, and his assistant.
Bodies weren't us.
Right. Maybe let him know we didn't do that. You can kind of check in.
Justice was going to report the missing guy on his way out.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He had to take care of his kid and is alarmed at what's going on in the city and thinks that taking care of his kid is the place to be. So.
Okay. All right. So
Just
Justice would
want to
likely
get involved the child support thing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That placing your child in danger like that might not look good to a court, right?
You might lose custody completely.
Yeah, he's a fan of having
rough.
custody.
Right. That makes good sense. So Justice might have relayed all of that to Salfron. But yeah, those are the primary options that you might have. Is there any of those locations you'd like to visit next?
Well, seeing as this whole situation started with the Lucidia stones themselves, and we've managed to come across a number of them already, perhaps we should visit the actual creator of these stones and check out his workshop and see exactly what's going on with it that's causing these people to go cuckoo crazy.
Gilzaf is gonna sigh just a little bit dramatically at those words and say, if Elspeth was here, she would suggest blowing up the whole shop and all of the Lucidia stones in it.
I mean, I wouldn't cut that out just yet.
Right.
It served a good purpose. She was able to destroy them, which then caused the users to come out of their trance and Not a
It was a
bad
good
idea.
thing.
That was like, according to what she put, like that was involved in a lot of how do you put this? Electric death.
Oh, yeah, that was
So
her primary form of
Mhm.
attack. Yeah.
Can I see her notes and maybe I'll just like expound upon them a bit for you?
I mean, sure, but like her notes suck. I took my own notes on her notes, but you can yeah. And so like she'll put down basically a small stack of pages that are in Elspeth's own, not exactly shorthand, but like abbreviated notes, like she was clearly trying to get it done with so she could get somewhere else.
I'll go through them and like yes, but like all of like give you a little bit of a shorter look on some stuff. And there's a lot more like, and so was there, and he was going to work, and Mrs. Such and Such was having trouble with the, including small, mundane little small talks about basically everybody that he has ever met on this journey.
She was starting to take notes in her notebook, like her notes, and she's looking at Gilzaf and it's like, wait, so that's not involved in this whole thing, right? That's sort of extra.
What's extra? What is that?
Okay, we're going to just okay. So do any of you still have one of these stones intact, or are they all like in pieces somewhere?
Oh.
I have one.
Okay. Did you sleep with it? Not in like a weird way.
I don't sleep.
Do you dream?
That is a really good question. Do I dream? We should do experiments right now.
Only of electric sheep.
You have piqued Veach's interest. This is a dangerous road you are going down. Her hand is reaching right back for that screwdriver.
I'm gonna snap
it's
out of
early
that.
morning and not normally sleep time, but
I didn't sleep with it. I left it with some of my stuff in one of the. I'm sure this place has a communal locker system.
You each have individual rooms.
Oh, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I guess it was with me in my room.
Okay.
I figured we were maybe sleeping like in a big room all together.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, yep. So yeah.
Not like us, but like all of the patrons. Is what it.
Right.
Like a hostel.
Like all the patrons
house?
in like a. Yep. Yeah. There's only one bed in this whole inn, and everyone just kind of sleeps in it. Just find the nook and nuzzle up, right? No. No, the way this map's laid out and the way I envisioned it, everyone kind of has their own individual room.
Okay.
But like activating a Lucidia stone, it's kind of it's actually a deliberate process. You just kind of set it right next to you when you sleep, like on your nightstand or whatever, and just kind of gaze into it as you drift off to sleep. As it sparkles and it shimmers, it kind of draws you into this into like REM sleep, I guess, where you enter a dream state. And you actually have perfect control over your dreams. And anything is possible within your dreams, which is kind of cool.
The one I had was just kind of in my bag.
Okay. Yeah, so it wouldn't have been activated if it wasn't if you weren't like willing it to, if you weren't like kind of staring into it and willing yourself into it. Mm-hmm.
Offer.
Gotcha.
It was actually in the same bag as my pet mimic, though.
Aha.
Yeah, we have.
So your mimic might have activated it, right?
So hopefully the mimic's not compromised now.
Indeed. That's a possibility.
Compromised more than it already is as a mimic.
Yeah, you might have to fight that mimic a little bit, but we'll see. Any thoughts on where to go next?
My vote is for the workshop.
The store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it Vitali?
Yeah, it's a kind of a long name. It is called Gorman Utali's Interplanar Emporium of Arcane Wonders. How he fits that on a sign, I do not know, but it's
That
pretty.
kind of sounds like the store that my dad bought me from.
Uh-huh.
Oh. I thought your father created you, like made you.
Well, so he himself wasn't any sort of artificer like Svetlana here is. He was a merchant. So although he did create me in that I am bespoke, he had someone else do it at a shop.
Oh, okay. But he helped design you in your
Yeah.
fabrication, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I look so cute.
Mm. Interesting.
And like a gnome.
Right.
As this conversation is going on, Svetlana has been sort of slowly sidling around the table to get closer to Mark V. That screwdriver is in one hand.
Mark V is observing you.
Be prepared to block.
Okay.
Mark V, it's clear that this individual is a tinkerer and is kind of curious about the makeup of just about anything that is a construct of any sort.
Sort of leans down and goes, "You're the one with the memory problem?"
Yes.
Did you get more back overnight?
No.
When was the last time you remembered having a memory?
Going into the basement of the... What was it? The tile...
The
fac-
textile.
Textile factory. Thank you. Sorry. User does not have good memory.
It was when we came across the other Warforged that was down there, the decommissioned one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you get like a memory stick out of it?
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
set.
So there was
Like something that an artificer could help with?
there was something of a cartridge that was found, right?
Mhm.
And was that ever inserted in?
No, I have it pocketed.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm.
Pocketed in
Well-
like an actual pocket, or pocketed in like the slot it goes in?
Pocketed in like my satchel or something.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Okay.
you want to like make a little project of trying to get your brain to do the fine things where it remembers stuff again?
Yes, that would be helpful.
I have experiments in mind. Careful experiments, I promise.
Oh.
It is
Okay.
worth a try.
I love to hear that, thank you. So, decisions made, is that what we're doing?
Okay.
We'll go up to the mall place?
Yeah, I like what Xylex said.
Yeah. Head for the storefront. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So interesting prospects they're developing. The idea there, Mark V, that you might be able to restore your memory with the help of the skills of this artificer. But as you look around, and there might not be an easy, opportune time for that to happen immediately. The party kind of decides to move forward to the next location, which is the Sky Mall of sorts. So yeah, shopping district in Fairhaven. High atop one of these towers, there are many exclusive shops, and one such happens to be the Interplanar Emporium of Arcane Wonders, owned by none other than Gorman Utali, who is something of a kind of a semi-famous merchant, somebody who's kind of been known to kind of bring really good deals and do lots of things, like kind of like Ricky Diggets, but not a fraud. Pretty cool. But yeah, so with that, you make your way. You can kind of see how this map. Let me zoom out, but you can kind of see how there are dock ports and docking ways off of the edge of this building. With that, you're able to board an airship, and you kind of set sail for one of the major shopping districts in town. And the city is beautiful. Fairhaven, they kind of call it the City of Lights, and it's kind of set up by all these different little like glow globes. Magic is a little different in Eberron. It's kind of everywhere. Lots of low-level magic that is made to kind of make life more convenient and more beautiful. Things like climate control and communications, ambience, entertainment. All those things are kind of underlined by low-level magic. And every major industry and every major piece is kind of overseen by guild houses. There's a house that is responsible for things like hospitality, who runs the inns and who runs the hostels and things like that. There's one that runs transportation, kind of interesting things. As you travel about, as you look out, gaze out from the deck of the airship, looking over the city, the sun is kind of setting. Beginning to set in the far distance. Again, you do notice every now and then, every third or fourth person or so is just kind of either staring blankly, kind of moving about like just kind of like a mindless automaton, or they kind of hold their gaze upon each of you. Again, they're not being rude, they're not like staring per se, but you just get this sense that they're kind of watching you. It's a little unnerving.
So I would be continuing the small talk with people around me. That view may be gorgeous, but what's even more gorgeous, the life story of these commuters.
Right.
Are they also having that same sort of blankness when I'm trying to talk to them? Or is it giving person on the bus just wants to get home and doesn't want to talk to you?
Sure. How many people would you say you struck up a conversation with on this commute?
Probably 5.
Okay.
Depending on how busy it is, maybe a couple more, but
okay. Yeah, it was. And for the most part, they were pretty engaging conversations. Your character is actually pretty good at getting people talking. You've kind of learned a few ways to kind of get that happening. You know how to make people feel good about themselves a little bit, how to make people feel like they can trust you a little bit. It's a subtle art, and you're good at it. Eventually, you're able to just kind of your innocent persona and outgoing demeanor kind of get people to open up a little bit. There were 5 different people that you spoke to, and they came from all different walks of life. One of them, a member of the local political affiliates, on their way to a meeting to discuss different policies. Another person was from one of the merchant guilds, figuring out what comes next and what the next movement is for commerce. Another individual seems to work in security, and talked about how they were just kind of moving from one spot to another to kind of make sure that everything was good. A 4th individual was going from Sharn, actually going to visit family in Fairhaven, crossing country lines and crossing borders to visit far off places and distant relatives. And then there was a 5th person who didn't seem to have much of a backstory at all. They were dressed kind of like a common citizen, pretty normal clothes. But this 5th person you spoke with, they just kind of didn't really reveal much about themselves. They just kind of had that blank stare a little bit. They didn't respond. Your questions were often open-ended and prompted thoughtful answers, but they just kind of kept it short, and it was a little more than like it wasn't so much like they were trying to kind of cut you off and didn't really want to talk to you. They looked straight at you. Their body language was they pointed their body towards you, not like they were like away and trying to avoid. They were engaging you, but it was like there was just nothing there per se. It was a little odd, actually, and it struck you as just being a little strange.
Gonna write that down in my little book. Mention
Can I,
it to my fellow people who aren't Svetlana. Sorry, you weren't there when I cast the spell in the morning. You don't get it psychically.
No psychic communication, right?
Can I do like an insight bonus or insight check on that one interaction in particular? See if there's any anything outside of the norm from Gilzaf's own observations.
Yeah, sure. We can say you were kind of sitting in the adjacent seats. You kind of overheard the conversation. You were able to observe. Go ahead and run an insight check.
That's 22.
Okay. Yeah.
You've definitely seen me talk to people before.
Right? Lots and lots.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So that one in particular just kind of piqued my interest, and I want to see what's going on with that.
Yeah. So the other thing that you picked up on is it didn't appear like sometimes there are clues, there are context clues that might tell you when somebody might have kind of a mental deficiency or some kind of a difficulty, like a mental, a mental disability. That didn't come through in the context clues of this individual. Their mannerisms, the way they carried themselves, the way that they interacted, it was more like they were just kind of not there a little bit. Like they weren't entirely, like they just weren't entirely engaged in their surroundings or even alert or aware of what was happening. And ordinarily that wouldn't by itself, that wouldn't be there's people out there who are just disconnected all the time, right? But the fact is, you've been seeing this kind of like with like almost every fourth or fifth person in the crowd. There's a number of them that just kind of that kind of do that. The other thing that they do is that they just kind of look at you a little bit. They kind of not really stare, but they kind of watch you a little longer than they maybe ought to have. There's an unspoken language when we walk through a crowd, right? The way that we interact with people, our body language, our eye contact, things like that. And, individuals who don't necessarily have the same, who are not tuned into that same culture or have that same ability to read and gauge people, their eyes linger a little longer than they ought to perhaps, than what might be comfortable in our culture, right? Or their body language or their proximity changes a little bit. It's just it doesn't feel like they're weird so much as it feels like maybe they're just, I don't know, foreign, I guess you could say. Very foreign. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what just something kind of alien, I would say. Mm-hmm. That's how it feels.
All right. Does this type of behavior, is it reminiscent of any of the actual cultists that we fought against?
Maybe a little. It's hard to say because the cultists and the individuals that you came across, they were obviously hostile towards you. Yeah. They were kind of in a mode to, hey, we're going to kill you. So they kind of it was easier to fall. The rules of communication in combat are a little more narrow focused, right? And they were definitely more within that set, sure. rather than that. So you could say, maybe kind of. I mean, they all struck you as a little bit odd, mainly because they were dressed in different. They all dressed like they were from different walks of life, and they all, as a group, wanted to kill you. Also, whenever you would kill them, their bodies would explode and a strange ghost would appear and then disappear from sight. So that Yeah, that was definitely out of the norm.
So
But
what
it's
you're
like-
saying is this individual is not actively wanting to kill us right now,
Not at the moment. you
like
could
those other
say.
guys.
They're not actively hostile towards you. But who knows what would happen if you raised a weapon, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I'd like to address the party after I check this, since I'll be like, I'm not sure if anyone else is noticing, but we are drawing quite a bit of attention from the local people here. I know we're a pretty colorful batch from all different walks of life, but it is a little odd we are getting so many stray looks and lingering eyes as we walk through the city. I confess that when we were battling the day before and I was overtaken by that creature, it seemed that ever since you broke me out of that trance, all the future enemies had somehow recognized me specifically, saying that they've seen me in their dreams. I don't know if all these people have either had experience with these stones or uh, if they have, and we've had such intense interactions with these stones ourselves. I'm worried that perhaps all these people who are giving us looks and being strange or odd about themselves, whether or not they have any sort of recognition of us or, I don't know, some sort of familiarity. It's odd. I mean, I'm not very well versed in those social aspects of life. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm a giant lizard person and they're just odd about it. But this doesn't seem right to me. I don't think I'm really wrong about that.
Well, I know that I, for one, attract a lot of attention deliberately. So I haven't really noticed so much, but you are right that a couple of people that I've talked to have been a little off like that. Yeah, I can see that. And telepathically, I apologize to Svetlana, to Mark V and Xylek. Gilzaf will say, want me to see if they have any Lucidia stones in their pocket?
Well, let's make it to our destination first. I don't need to be attracting any more unwanted attention to us in case something happens. Plus, last time that you tried to grab somebody's stone, you sort of deactivated on us.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I really don't want to fight this entire bus full of people, do I?
At least
I
every
would
fifth
like to
person
hear
on
more
the issue.
about that.
Yeah, every fifth person. But what did you say?
I would like to hear more about that instance.
It was the smallest of matters. I had just come off of the high, and Gilzaf will give a very skewed version of this instance. The high of successfully stealing the stone from the Church of Colton, not like a high.
She was about to ask.
I trailed off, but Gilzaf did not trail. Your attention may have trailed off.
Okay. Indeed. Svetlana, it appears this group of individuals whom you recently joined is filled with many interesting stories. Lots to explore there. All right. Does anybody have any further questions or anything they want to do before we step into the next map?
Um,
The rest of Veach's time on the transit is basically either making small talk if Gilzaf is doing that, or trying to learn more about Mark V from Mark V.
Okay. Right on.
I
Yeah.
think I can change my discipline, and if I can, I want to change it from what it was this morning, precognition, to my mantle of awe. But I do have to
Okay.
make sure that I can change it. I think it's an action to change it.
Okay.
And also my side dice.
Okay. Yeah. I'm cool with that happening. Svetlana, lots of insight into Gilzaf. Gilzaf is kind of an open book in a lot of ways. Mark V, a little more reserved.
Mark V is complete opposite, but not like because they're like being rude, but they just cut to the point. So if something is a yes or no question, you only get yes or no. If you want details, you must ask specifically.
She's smart enough to pick up on that and will therefore ask leading questions whenever possible that require some kind of elaboration.
I think I need to.
Okay.
But there isn't much information that they can offer you right now with their limited memory. So pretty much like anything that has happened since waking up that you can kind of glean anything off of.
Okay. It is good. All right.
As we're traveling through the city, I want to just keep an eye out to see if there's any sort of like significant pockets of like park or trees of nature or any sort of like significant like church aspect or area of worship.
Okay. Yeah, you're looking for a place to commune.
Just offhandedly.
Yeah, and you have a great view at the moment, high above the city, on board an airship. You're kind of able to kind of get up and look to the outside decks of this airship, and looking off that deck, you're able to see a number of parks and places that look beautifully landscaped. You do see a few places that look like they might be like places of worship. They're kind of ornately decorated, and they look like they might be churches of some sort or temples. Yeah. You do see some of that there, so you're able to kind of take note and figure out your destination and figure out how to navigate to one of those places if you want at some point in the near future.
Yeah, another date.
Yeah. So the airship begins to kind of slow, and it settles in, and as it draws close to one of the main towers in the shopping district, still high up, hundreds of feet above the city. One of the main towers is just the top of it is kind of like like a sky mall, I guess, or like a large shopping district. There are four primary quarters of this tower, and one of them has and each corner of this tower has like what looks like a landing dock, and as your airship kind of slowly begins to descend and docks with one of these landing docks, I'll move you all to that map real quick. Let me know when that shows up for y'all.
I got it.
Up.
Yeah, good.
Good. And if you zoom all the way out, you'll see that it's kind of the top of one of these towers high above the city. And at one corner there, you see a sign with this elaborate writing all about in this lower corner.
Lower left hand?
Yeah, lower left. And it says Gorman Utali's Interplanar Emporium of Arcane Wonders. And I'll zoom in the map on that corner there. And draw us in like so. Yeah. And it's a gorgeous shop. It's kind of most of us have been to kind of like a high-end shopping area, or hanging out at the mall or whatever. It's kind of one of those places where it kind of part of it, it smells like I don't know, smells like new clothing, I guess, like a department store or whatever. Gives you that feeling a little bit like I don't know, sometimes gives me the feeling that I'm too poor to be here. It's kind of that feeling, but that's definitely part of it, right?
I know that feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's like the common people's mall that has like the Spencers, the Hot Topic, the like Hollister, the Gap.
Exactly.
And then there's the fancy people's mall that has like an Armani, like the fancy name brands.
Yep.
I feel like this is one of those fancy malls.
Yeah.
This is one of those fancy malls.
Yeah, let's go to the Vera Wang store.
There's a Paris baguette that's right down the street from me, and every time I walk into that place in like, a t-shirt and jeans and my work boots, I'm like, I don't feel classy enough to be in here.
Yep. Yeah. One of these days, next time I buy an expensive pair of shoes, I'm gonna show up in like shorts, t-shirt, hoodie, right?
Don't worry, I got money.
Right.
Or whatever.
It is good. But nonetheless, people are friendly. Nobody's sliding. No one's, like I said, every fourth or fifth person is giving you that, just kind of watching you, but nobody's kind of looking down their noses at you. It's actually a pretty friendly vibe of what you're picking up on. Kind of a hustle and bustle every now and then, every here and there. There's customers moving about, and you find yourselves at the forefront of this mysterious shop. There are people kind of going in and out of the shop, and some are coming out with little shopping bags. Some of them kind of like reaching into their bags and pulling out these Lucidia stones, and they're kind of looking at them, looking at them, kind of tossing them, turning back in their hands, walking past you. They're kind of pretty interested in them. I'll go ahead and reveal the shop.
And sorry, what?
I'm surprised to see this place is still open with all the controversy that's been happening with the stones. Like, how's this place not shut down?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Aren't you guys on Eberron TikTok?
Right.
All the influencers are supporting this.
Well,
not actually. I'm joking.
Right. That's kind of actually how it is. They're kind of everywhere. These Lucidia stones. They're kind of like this all the rage. And keep in mind, you've all kind of just uncovered. Basically, as far as you know, the only people who know about what's going on with these stones, what are tied to them, as far as you know, y'all are the only ones that know. Perhaps you and Saffron and Mystere, perhaps, right? And that's just recently been reported. So it's still very much kind of out in the open. It doesn't look like the general public have caught on just yet that there might be something awry. Yeah. Stepping in,
Yes.
you all see a number of things, a number of beautiful and incredible, strange artifacts. These are all pretty much, they look like high-end magic items, things that are extremely rare, collectible. And if you have any questions on any of them, I actually do have detailed notes. So feel free to explore. A gentleman in the back, dressed in
a shopping episode.
You could say, depending on a couple things, but yeah, and it's kind of like a spot to kind of explore, I guess. And in the back, a gentleman dressed in merchant garb smiles with perfect teeth. He says, welcome, friends. Welcome to Gorman Utali's Emporium. What brings you in today? How may I help you?
As a former merchant myself, well, son of a merchant, I am going to absolutely put on all of the charm, including my +1 to charisma checks, from my mantle of awe that I've got going on to engage with the shopkeep.
Okay.
Sort of like a hello, my fine sir. Show us your wares. It seems my friend is interested in that table of heads over there. My other friend seems to be interested in whatever y'all are interested in, you know, like that sort of thing. I'm trying to guide the interaction. You know, you enter a store and that one shop attendant is like, "Hey, welcome in. Can I help you?" And then they kind of follow you around.
Yeah.
And like, usually the reaction to that is, "No, I'm good, thank you." Exact opposite.
Just looking around.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just kind of looking around. And okay. And then Gilzaf, you're super curious and super interested, right?
Yeah, just trying to engage the shopkeep in with my friends who are looking.
Okay. You got it. And the merchant behind the counter kind of picks up on the different context clues and whatnot, and piques your interest. Or he sees that your interest is kind of piqued in different things, and he says, "You appear to be a curious one. Are you interested in just kind of begins that salesy talk, right? Have you come in looking for something particularly rare, or looking to fill a special need, or perhaps a gift for someone special?"
I'm going to pick up on the salesy talk and with my talk, subtly just let him know I know what he's doing. I absolutely cannot talk to a person and get them to not upcharge me for things.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Gilzaf's the kind of person that could, because he knows how to get people to be upsold to. So
Okay.
like you go into the car dealership and they're like, "Oh boy, I'm going to sell this $15,000 car for $30,000." And Gilzaf is like, "Oh boy, no, you're not. I'm a car salesman too."
Alrighty, excellent. He catches that knowing tone essentially of what you're saying. It says, "Ah, cut from the same cloth. I see we are. You obviously have a background in the mercantile fields. It is good to meet a fellow. It is good to meet a fellow salesperson. What line of work did you? What line of work was your trade?" He's asking, like, what did you sell?
I cannot think of it, but I'm sure Gilzaf already has the most like trumped up version of selling food to the different warring parties during the last war as a traveling merchant that you could possibly do to a fancy schmancy I own a storefront that sells fancy schmancy things.
Right? Indeed. Well, what could be more important during a time of war than sustenance? I commend you.
Exactly.
It must have taken a tremendous amount of discipline and prowess to be able to be successful in such an endeavor.
My father was actually one of the top merchants who sold all kinds of things, actually, well, not all kinds of things, but all kinds of sustenance to all kinds of parties.
Really? Intriguing. Most certainly. Might I have the pleasure of knowing your father's name? Perhaps I might have been familiar with him.
I have this, hold on.
Yeah, that's all good.
My father's name was Enziver Brazit Filfelden de Civis.
Enziver Brasilvan Difficus. I know the name. There's a familiarity.
Listen, they got long names.
I did not know him personally, but but his reputation did precede him. He was a fine merchant.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. You must be very proud, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Welcome to my shop, young merchant. Please, have a look around. Ask questions. Explore.
Why don't you help my friend the lizard man over there?
Yeah.
With his looking at those skulls while I go look at these
Mm-hmm.
Jules.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Xylek. Tell us what you're up to right now. Curious about the skulls on the table?
Yeah, so being a more primitive type being, yeah, seeing these skulls and animal like hides and stuff here at this table is the first thing that really kind of grabbed my eye.
Mm-hmm.
I would like, while Gilzaf was introducing themselves, I should have it. I'm going to cast Detect Magic as a ritual.
Okay.
Just start kind of like hovering my hand over certain items and just trying to get a sense of whether or not anything pops up as magical, which I
Okay.
assume there will be, but
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, immediate return off of that detect magic spell, off the charts. Everything in the shop is magical. Everything in the shop is and what strikes you more is that everything in the shop looks pretty darn authentic. Whoever this guy is, this Gorman Utali has spent a lot of time trading amongst the realms.
Hmm.
And coming back with items that are of high value and that are like the real deal.
Um, well, yes, I've see you have a number of skulls and what seem to be maybe spell focuses. Can you explain as to what these actually are?
Of course, each of these wondrous items came from different planar worlds, and each of them have unique abilities. Perhaps you're interested in animal in connection with the beasts of the field. This, for instance, and he motions towards the bovine skull. He reaches in with two hands and kind of gently picks it up to kind of present it to you. He says, "This is the bovine skull of beast thought. It was created by the early beast masters of House Vedalis in Fellswood, near Varna, in the Eldine Reaches. This item, and as you look at it, it says this item appears to be a polished bovine skull decorated with gold inlays and sealed jewels. Let's see, the mark of holding is displayed. Right, sorry, the mark of handling is displayed prominently on its forehead. The inner portions of each horn, close to where they meet the skull, are worn smooth, as if having been held repeatedly by human hands. He holds it up with his two hands, and it says, "When you hold this artifact by the hands, you gain the ability to comprehend and telepathically communicate with beasts. This ability lasts for as long as you are holding this bovine skull by the horns with both hands." He kind of let's see. Never mind. The goat is not present. Kind of holding it back, and it appears it's basically a device that allows you to like. Oh wait, yeah, it is. He turns around, turns to the goat, and it says, "Hello there, my friend. Welcome to my shop." And right, and I'm curious.
Goat stares back and does whatever the goat equivalent of saying "ba" is.
Right.
In return to this guy.
Okay. Yeah. The
And
merchant
I'm
turns
assuming
back.
that might be some kind of deception check.
Okay.
You tell me. I'll roll
yeah.
it, but
Yeah, that's fine. It basically just says the goat equivalent of ba, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay, like a little B-A-A-A-A, right?
Yeah, goat is making the noise of a goat as opposed to actually using
Right.
language.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
Like when you meow at your pet cat.
Yeah. So he understands it. Rolling come back as a 9. Yeah, and Gorman just kind of turns back to the rest of the group and says, he says "bah."
Oh,
He sets
I
the
should have told you that.
and sets the bovine skull back on the mantle.
If
But
Gilzaf had an eyebrow, it would arch, and then it would look askance.
right,
The eyebrow would look askance. At these real deal merchandise.
right, at these real deal merchandise. What else are you curious about?
We've heard it. An item that's been quite popular amongst the people here in the city. Um,
Mhm.
Lucidia stones.
Uh-huh.
I heard this is the prime place to get one. Is that true?
Indeed, it is. I am the exclusive dealer of Lucidia stones in the city of Fairhaven. Very popular item. Right this way, and he motions over to this table. Says, "Here we are." And he motions over to this table, and there's just kind of like this. There's this glyph on the table that's kind of lit up and kind of like a translucent, just like a magic aura that passes over him. And and sitting on this table are 6 of these stones, which you pretty well recognize by now. These are in fact the Lucidia stones.
So we've been talking to a number of people who have purchased these before, and what do you have to say of the rumors that they're causing the users to become uncharacteristically aggressive?
Aggressive?
Well, surely you heard of all the tales of the users who have either abused the stones or the stones themselves have twisted their actions. I mean, it's
Hmm.
pretty
I can totally
widely.
back up this rumors with some totally unsubstantiated rumors that I will absolutely spread if you need me to.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
we've been hearing that teachers have been attacking their students, and other shopkeepers have been, killing their shop attendants, and all these, strange occurrences that all seem to lead back to their use of these Lucidia stones. I'm interested to hear what you think of these rumors being the exclusive seller of these items.
Okay. So Utali looks perplexed. He says, "I have not heard of such things at all. That is absolutely news to me. These stones," and he picks one up. Uh, uh, they're actually quite amazing, honestly. They really do nothing more than affect your REM patterns of sleep and allow you to have control over your dreams. They have been very popular. As to their use causing people to become aggressive, I have not heard of such things. I have been researching these things for months, and I haven't seen any kind of adverse effects with such things. And keep in mind, you guys are probably the first to know, essentially, or at least the first to to pick up on this.
Can I tell
And-
if he's lying or not by
You can, yeah, go ahead and run an insight check.
8?
Okay,
No, 7.
7.
Svetlana's also right there listening, so she is curious too.
Okay, already. Yeah, Xylek, it's kind of difficult to tell, as you might be kind of still unfamiliar with the odds and ends of how citizens of this culture communicate. But he seems legit, seems on the level. Svetlana, he's being sincere. You don't pick up that he might be deceiving you or lying or anything like that. Despite the fact that he's a salesman, but you're pretty sure he seems genuinely genuinely perplexed at what you're saying.
And do you yourself use Lucidia stones?
Of course.
I mean,
often.
as the seller, you have, of course, sampled your merchandise.
Of course. Why I wouldn't put them up to market otherwise. I use them quite often. Honestly, I've slept better in the last few months than I have my entire life.
And how well has your dream control been?
Without flaw. Every night is an adventure and a fantasy, and it is wonderful.
And I want to insight that one.
Okay.
I wasn't quick enough to get on the insights on the other one.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I can't see this. 11 plus 6
Okay.
is 17.
17. That's good. That's a pretty good roll. Yeah, he's being very sincere. You don't pick up on any kind of. There's no shift in the eyes. There's no dilation. There's no changes in the lips. There's no shifting of the posture. No setup with the "hey, let me tell you something" kind of thing before someone tells a lie. It's just he appears, from what you can tell, he appears to be sincere.
And do the different colors do different things, or?
They are mostly for personal preference.
Mostly?
Well, yes. They say some have said that the red ones are a little more romantically inclined, but that's just hearsay thus far. And you get this idea that that's just kind of like that might be like a sales gimmick. Maybe numbers are down on the red ones.
And just Justin, did you say, or Jason, I'm sorry. Did you say that second time about that? Did you say that they were in a glyph pattern, where there was a glyph on like the stand that they were on?
Yeah, so you can see this design on the table that they're on, and it looks like it might be just for decoration, but hard to say. It could just be like a prestidigitation piece, or dancing lights kind of spell or whatever. But it's like a glyph that kind of moves around and emphasizes and decorates these lucidity stones, causing patterns of light to appear around the display case.
Svetlana would like to examine that with an eye towards the magic, thus the Arcana roll.
Okay, you got it. Arcana check is 19, and it seems to be just that. But it's actually doing a little bit more. It's actually keeping them dust-free and clean. These patterns of light are actually also small beams of energy that are not only kind of beautifying the display, but they're also just kind of they're also like cleaning these things, like a Tesla shower, I guess. Nikola Tesla had this wild idea about electricity showers. You ever hear about that stuff? Step into a chamber and your body gets electrocuted.
Yeah,
very softly, very gently, but it cleans you. That's kind of what this is doing.
What?
I'm
That's a thing?
Yeah.
He thought it was.
Oh.
I'm gonna reach toward one like you would when you're talking to the iPhone sales guy and you're like, may I? Because you want to play with the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick up just the nearest one to me. Appears to be the silver one, gray one.
Okay.
And just examine it closely. I have no eye for stones, as I'm not a dwarf. But is there anything because we haven't really examined a Lucia stone. We've blown them up, sure.
Yep. Yeah.
But we haven't examined one, and maybe the one that we actually have that I gave to Svetlana is different. Maybe somebody's taking these and using them. Who knows?
Okay.
Do they compare?
Yeah. It's pretty much exactly like the ones that you've seen in your battles. Like the ones that you saw throughout the dungeons. They're beautiful. They're just like a large size gem. They sparkle. They appear to be kind of flawless. It's as you peer into it, you can't really see any kind of bubbles or tinges or cracks or anything like that within the gem material itself. And they just kind of draw you in. It's just kind of a thing that you just kind of want to sit there and just kind of stare at. It kind of relaxes you, or rather, as a construct, you can feel the effect of this stone just kind of placing your internal subroutines and internal processes into just kind of a more like lower baseline state.
gonna
Just
put
kind of that. Mhm.
back on the pedestal because that's what happened the last time.
Uh-huh.
That's why all those people attacked us.
Right.
Not that I'm gonna say that in front of this
Okay.
guy, but
Yeah.
interesting. And I'm gonna watch the little. I'm sure the glyph is going to like magically clean all my fingerprints off the stone. I think that's fascinating. I don't have fingerprints. I'm a construct.
It's a cool feature. It's a cool display. Yeah, as you set it down, it kind of seems to be drawn into the space that you place it in, and it centers itself perfectly, almost like a magnet. And and the beams begin kind of passing about and reflecting the light about the display stand, and slowly you're able to see kind of like the oil or whatever, oil or whatever it might be on someone's fingers. Joint oils, that stuff, all that just kind of quickly goes away, and you're likely the only person in the room that can see it with your construct eyes. But you can see that matter kind of slowly dissipating beneath the beams.
Interesting. I want to throw him off the mark a little bit of like, we're only here to investigate you, because we absolutely are only here to investigate him. But I'm gonna go over to this case and.
Okay.
So tell me about these jewels. Are they as alluring as you claim the Lucidia stones are?
Well, I'm not sure anything in my shop is entirely as alluring or as I guess I would say settling and relaxing as Lucidia stones. But everything in the shop has a story, and everything in the shop is an item of great wonder. These here are amulets and necklaces from far off lands. Which one seems to catch your eye? And they're all gorgeous. There's a big like jade one, there's a green one, light colored one, a purple one. Very pretty.
Xylak, you're over here with me. Is your eye training on any one of them?
Not necessarily, but I can definitely like keep looking with you.
Well, like if your eye seemed to be lingering on one, I would ask about that one. So.
Okay. And the green one, this one.
The green one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Matches my scales.
Okay.
It does. It would look so pretty against your scales.
Gorman kind of reaches in and indicates that one. The amulet of the jade elephant. 4,000 gold pieces. From the deep jungles of Chut, this amulet can become an elephant for up to 24 hours. Activating the amulet is a bonus action. Once it has been used, it can't be activated until 7 days have passed. Need an elephant? Need a beast of burden? Need a battering ram? You have one here within this necklace.
Enchanting an elephant. Those are. Do I know what an elephant is? Do elephants exist in Eberron?
Sure they do.
Or are they like Olifants to Sam? Why is Gamgee?
Right. Could be Olifants. Could be. You have some idea of what it is. It's
impressive.
This is being a large beast that could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But 4,000 gold, that's a lot. Quick, everybody, pretend we have that kind of money all of the time. We do have our police funds. And I think if we were able to draw up reasoning behind getting anything in the store, we could totally bullshit our way in using all of the police funds to buy out this whole store if we need to.
Right.
But dang, that's a lot of money.
And kind of how that's been posed to you. Let's see. So yeah, kind of how the way that's been kind of posed to you is that you have access to that department's funds for the and they understand that this could be an expensive venture, but it's basically its purpose is to help the investigation, right? So if you need to pose as a shopper and you need to buy something pricey, they'll likely that's likely gonna be fine. And you have like the little sending stone piece that connects you to their accounts. And the room is filled with awesome items. And if you like, it is kind of time for us to close out the session as it's getting a bit late on the East Coast. But we can talk about this out of game, and I'd be happy to go through some of these items with each of you and show you what they are and what they do.
Yeah.
And we can do that. But that's kind of the thing is if there's something you need, you can see a need for or just kind of really want, find a way to justify that. To the department. There's a sending station just outside to communicate that if necessary, and then you might be able to pull that off easily enough. All right, so with that, we will continue this amazing shopping experience to be continued with the shopping episode in our next session, which we will plan on for next week at the same time, right? Is there anything anybody wants to do or accomplish or any questions for me before I close out the session?
I would like to spend one of my psionic points for no reason at all.
Okay.
Just because I want to.
All right. You all witness Gilzap centering themselves and planting their feet and pausing their breath, and suddenly a massive glow shines about their character. Just kidding. I don't know. You spend the psionic part, the point. It works good.
I spend my I'm going to use it to do charming presence. I spend one hit psi point. The total is how many hit points worth of this creature this option can affect. I can affect 1 hit point worth of creature. How many does he have? Probably more than 1.
A few more than 1. But but you never know, right? It kind of fizzles. All right. It is a charming attempt, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So so with that, we'll go ahead and we'll close out the session tonight. We'll meet you all next week for our next game. I'll hand the time over to our gracious host, Beluga.
Yes. We will see you next week for more Game Dealers of Fairhaven. We will also be live tomorrow around 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Rise of the Rune Lords, our Pathfinder 1st Edition campaign.
Heck yeah.
So come join that, because we are starting a new chapter, and we didn't get to do it 2 weeks ago, so we're doing it tomorrow instead. But with that, I am Beluga, your guildmaster here at the Role Players Guild. I play Mark V, the Warforged Warlock. To Alex with Laura on deck.
Hello. Alex here with Silex Searster, the Lizard Folk Cleric Druid multi-class. Look.
Oh god, I wasn't ready. Just kidding, I was ready. I'm Laura. I play Gilzap, whose father has a really long and complicated gnomish name. And I play, Gilzap, who is a Soul Knife Rogue who's just been awakened into the Mystic class. We'll see how that goes. It's B Spouse's turn now.
I'm B Spouse. I'm currently playing Svetlana, everyone's favorite artificer who would like to unscrew your panels and check out what's going on in your brain. But she will ask first, and that's not necessarily a euphemism. Yeah. Jason.
Right on. Thank you so much, everyone. As always, such a great pleasure to hang out with you guys and game with you. We will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah.
Alrighty, everyone. Thank you again for joining tonight. Hope to see you tomorrow. Otherwise, hope to see you next week. And have just a great rest of your week and an amazing weekend. Take care now. Bye-bye.